Well, I made the morning cup of coffee again. How do you like it?
It's delicious. It's delicious. I put my half and half from the
I was going to ask, what is the ingredients inside of the coffee?
Well, it is, it's literally just cream, half and half. And it's delicious.
And one thing is, while you're traveling, there are things that are different. One thing really is coffee. And one thing, I keep saying one thing. The thing that is most impressive, though, is when you go to the store and you're looking for coffee grinds, whatever. Yeah. If it might be a drip coffee. Yeah. I wanted like a local experience. Yeah. Because those tastes generally have different tastes out of the coffees. So it's good.
I'm really enjoying it, honestly. I'm very proud of myself. We're only a couple days in here, but still, I have not even gone to a single coffee shop yet. I haven't bought a single coffee, matcha, anything, which it's fun to try on vacation.
Come on, it's a waste of money. We all know that. But it's a waste of money.
It's also fun to go to when you're in places like this, to go to the local market and do your shopping there. That's also fun too. It's the experience.
The local market's fun, man. And then the walkability of it. So make sure you're always walkable. You don't have to take a car or bus and stuff. But
we love walking everywhere. That's been our life here.
Pay a little bit more for that luxury if you need to.
Yes. Okay, guys. So today we are talking about the biggest lessons. We're just going to have a, as usual, laid back, unplanned, candid, off the top of our heads, which is the best kind of conversation.
That's the only conversation.
It's the only kind we have on this podcast over here. We're going to have a conversation about the biggest lessons we've learned over the 11 years in real estate.
Oh boy, and there's probably a lot of them, good and bad.
Yes, I believe it was. So 11 years ago, in 2015, I got my real estate license. I just graduated high school, and here we are now. I think I'm on my 11th year, somewhere around there. A couple years after getting licensed, Spencer was able to quit his job and join me, and we've been a husband and wife real estate team ever since. It is our full-time everything real estate, and
a full-time gig, and
we've learned a lot. And honestly, I'm not even sure where to begin, because I feel like there's so many directions.
Here's the cool thing, though. Is lessons in failure is not always a bad thing. Okay, because I know in this
failure
industry,
is never a bad thing.
Exactly. Never. In this industry, things are going to happen. Things are going to come up. Not every transaction is the same. There's always different variables because each home is different. Sometimes you're selling a home in 1960 versus 2005. Yeah. So that whole negotiating process and then sales process is going to be a little bit different. And then client to client, they're different. There's personality types. One personality type that really can mentally drain you as a real estate agent are the analytical types, because they're like scouting over everything, numbers, the lines in the sale agreement. There's over 400 lines to read through. Yes. Now, is that a bad thing that they're going through the contract and saying, "Oh, what's this? What's that?" No, but just be prepared. That's mental space. That's energy that you're going to have to be glued to your phone or get on a phone call real quick to clarify. And do your job. So there are tons of lessons, and one lesson I would say is for me, okay, is understand where your documents are being sent once in a contract. What I mean by that is, what are you sending to the lender? What are you sending to the title agent? What are you sending to your brokerage? There are multiple forms that you need to be aware of and the types of forms to be used in particular contracts. So one question I would be asking right now, if you're a new agent or even not doing this, is make it easy for yourself. When you have a buyer, you go show this house. What to do next after writing an offer. Of course, we all know you need one form. It's called the sale agreement. But what are the additional documents throughout the whole real estate transaction that you're going to need? So that is called a checklist. Yeah. Make your checklist and make it easy. Did you know on SkySlope is what we use for all of our real estate forms? You can actually upload templates, meaning, hey, this form through this form is everything I'm going to need throughout a real estate contract. Yeah. And from there, you can just pick everyone that relates to your real estate transaction.
That's good. I'm going to say something really important that I learned super early on the hard way is communication. It sounds so simple, but honestly, this is probably the biggest complaint when you talk to someone who has bought or sold and had a negative experience with an agent. usually they felt in the dark. And I mean, were they wrong in feeling in the dark? Because sometimes people just want to know, you know what I mean? Like, they have so many questions, they want to know everything, and it's like, you guys chill, you don't need to know all of this. Like, we know what we're doing, we're handling it. But just over communicating is what I would say. Always err on the side of over communicating instead of under communicating. And that's a big lesson I learned really early on that really transformed my business and helped me just have a lot, really happy clients, is over communicate.
Yeah. And you can forget to communicate something so small, because in this industry,
it's true.
Things become habit, things become natural for you as an agent, and you just honestly don't think it's as important as it should be. Well, in your client's eyes, it's very, very important. And I can understand when you jump up to 4+ clients, you kind of get jumbled in each transaction. There are multiple details to remember in a real estate transaction. It drives me nuts when I go to Mariah and I say, "Hey, Mariah, what was the accepted offer on this price, on this home particularly?" She says, "I don't know." Sometimes, you're like, oh my gosh. And that's just because.
But when you have a lot of escrows and stuff going on, like, you're not remembering the detail. You know what I mean? Without looking at the contract, you don't know off the top of your head.
Little things like that, though. Little things like that is what I try to do, though. I try to remember those details, because when a client calls me or texts me or I get a question, I want to know the answer. Now, obviously, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to say, hey, let me get back to you.
I refer to the contract.
My laptop, and let me look that up for you. And then also say, hey, you know what? You probably have a copy of the contract as well that was sent back to you after you signed it. But ultimately, I'm trying to find the answer. But those things, the little details, I could say in a real estate transaction are important factors, because they do need to be known, especially when you're an escrow. The title agent might have a question, your lending team might have a question. You need to verify, like, hey, how much is this going to be down, or the names on deed. Those simple little things, make sure they're all correct. That's partly why a transaction coordinator is very important.
I agree. I mean, there's been so many lessons. I think that a really big thing is just knowing that you're living in yesterday's how do I say this? What you were doing yesterday in real estate? Not yesterday, but like a few months ago.
Your work right now is what you prospected maybe a few months back.
That's a big lesson. So if you feel like you're slow right now, what were you doing 3 months ago? If you're super busy right now, 3 months ago, were you doing a lot of prospecting and staying consistent? I think that's a really big thing.
Now some things that I remember are my prospecting methods. I remember where I didn't like to stick to a script. Okay. Now, does that mean you fully stay on a script once you have one down? No. But what is important is you do your research, okay, and practice, because prospecting really is a big part of your business. I was scrolling through Facebook this morning, and there was a reel saying, well, if you're an agent, this is what you need to be doing. So then I looked at this reel. Well, they were exactly right, though, and that's kind of what I do. 8:30 to about 10:30, prospecting time. No negotiables. I'm not setting up appointments during those times. Now on the weekends, maybe it's a little bit different, but from 8:30 to 10:30, that's prospecting hours, period. I'm not booking showings. I'm not doing in-person things, because that's just a checklist. What are you going to be doing to lay down the pipe so in the future, like you just mentioned, you're getting paid a commission? Don't forget about your prospecting, but the tools you're using, put them to test. I mean, if you keep getting objection after objection after objection and then not closing or not getting your foot in the door, as I would say, through your prospecting session, well, you're going to need to change it up, you know? And if
what can you tweak?
And if you're used to one thing and it's maybe not working this month or this part of the year, go to a different one. You have to learn to pivot. And
you absolutely, that's a big thing we've learned, is pivoting.
And so there's so many forms of scripts out there. I mean, of course, you can go to ChatGPT to get ideas and stuff like that, but go to agents that know the industry and have been doing this for years, not just this agent that, got in a year or 2 years ago and now they only want to sell courses. That's something that's like a red flag to me, because if I'm just an agent selling courses and not actually active in the industry, okay, that's a problem, because people in markets change.
Yes.
And the way we operate business, it definitely has changed over the last 11 years.
Absolutely. Okay. That reminds me of, I want to talk about pivoting, because that's a big lesson I've learned personally in real estate. But I also, before I forget, I wanted to mention real quick about a tactic that whenever we do this, I swear we started doing it towards the beginning of our business, and then I, recently over the last year or so brought it back out, and it's looked a few different ways. But whenever we've done this, I have noticed just more clarity in our business, but I've also noticed numbers go up, and that is tracking. Track your numbers. What you track grows, and keeping it in front of you somewhere where you can see it all times. For me, in past seasons, this has looked like sticky notes in front of me at my desk, keeping my hot leads in front of me. It has looked like a giant whiteboard in our, living room, not even in our office, because it's where we will see it every day, tracking your current escrows so that, you're organized. They stay right in front of you. You know who to be checking in on, all of that. Like you said, like not dropping balls on anything, but also tracking your current hot leads, how many new listings and new buyers under contract you have that month. Tracking and keeping it in front of you is a lesson I've learned.
That is huge. In real estate. And I mean, I like how you mentioned, though, you do it hard copy, hard files, I would say. It's more visual. It's in front of you. Because
in front
everybody has a CRM in this industry.
Yeah.
Now, let's get real with yourself. How often are you using your CRM? Not every CRM is the same. Yep. If you're using it, great. There's always better tools to add to your CRM. But like the bigger you get in your CRM, the more often you're going to forget about a client. Okay. Yes. So when you are tracking in front of you, I'm a simple guy. Give me a whiteboard.
Yes.
Now clients. Those are the names on the whiteboard, because if I'm forgetting about the now clients, I'm forgetting about the now paycheck.
Yep.
And that's the problem here. And we are in the service industry. So if they're now, that means they need you. They need to hear from you. You need to be sending them listings. You need to be checking if it's a current seller of yours.
Yeah.
Because if things go quiet, sellers get very unhappy.
Absolutely.
Even if you have nothing to say.
Yes.
Call them up. Tell them you have nothing to say.
Yes.
But we are trying this type of marketing effort here to change up this week versus last week's numbers. Those things are so important. And so that communication side, I'm touching on it again, very, very important, because it can easily get overlooked and missed. And I can tell you from experience, I hate to admit it, but I have had sellers not extend the listing agreement in down markets because things were too quiet.
Yeah.
And when things are too quiet, that's no good. That's you do not want it to be quiet, especially on the selling side.
Yeah, for listings.
That's where I think we have gone wrong in the past, is when we just nothing was going on, so no really follow up with that client.
Yeah, I remember actually when I was a brand new agent, it was the type of market. In 2015, it wasn't as crazy quick as say like 2020, 2021, when it was like, boom, day on market, you're sold. But it was
like 75, 80 days at times, man.
But homes were, in 2015, the homes were still selling fast, just not as fast as, 2020. That was crazy fast. But they were still selling fast. And I remember my principal broker telling me, though, actually, because I was very listing heavy at the time. I remember her telling me, Mariah, you need to prepare for when your listings are sitting, because it is very normal actually in a housing market for listings to sit for 4 months, sometimes even 6 months at a time. And these sellers are going to get pretty unhappy with you if you have a good handful of listings and they're not hearing from you consistently. Like, you got to be really good at communication and updating them. And that's really where I learned that from. And then I saw that because the market shifted, and 2018 homes were sitting longer, and things change in different markets, which brings me back to what I wanted to share about pivoting. So you need to pivot how you do things when it comes to, different housing markets, of course, but also just knowing when and how to pivot in your business. Let's just say you have been utilizing a specific way of getting business, be it prospecting or marketing, for years, and it's been working really well for you. And then all of a sudden that well dries up and you're not getting the lead flow from it like you were before, or your life changes and it's just not really working out. It's not really what's in front of you right now to be doing for your business, and something else would be better to do. Instead of saying, oh, my business is over, I'm getting out of the business. No, you need to know how to pivot. And pivot means, okay, I was getting my business all from, let's just use our example, for sale by owners, but it's not really what I'm feeling right now in this time. So I'm going to pivot and I'm going to utilize video marketing. And then, this is, not as many people relocating right now. I'm going to pivot and this new method is it for me. So you got to know when to pivot and when it's okay it's not quitting. It's changing your business strategy. You have to be okay with that and you have to know when it's time.
Yeah, I would say that separates kind of the good agents between the great agents is they know. Yeah. They know when it's time to make a change in their business model. Yeah. And that's kind of every business in entrepreneurship world is, I mean, is this working or is it not? You have to cash flow. You have to create wealth, basically, because the real estate industry, it's very, very aggressive, but also expensive. Everything seems to cost money here. Mm-hmm. So whether it's your licensing fees, whether it's your taxes being taken out, whether it's your brokerage commission cuts, I mean, the marketing, it's just gone up and up and up. Every subscription that we have, I mean, these tools are necessary in order for you to produce great outcomes for your clients. And that's part of our, sales pitch with the listings and agents. Now, when it comes to like realtors in specific, I know them to be very egotistical, very protective of their name, very look at me, I'm flashy, always has the right thing to say and a response to be made. Now, if that's you, great. And if it's working for you, awesome. What I did when I first got in the industry, and there was nothing wrong with this. I know a lot of agents actually appreciated this in our office because it has a traditional method of real estate. I went out and I bought these suits. I bought these nice collared shirts, ties, the dress pants, the works. And I really did want to be a professional. I still am a real estate professional. And that is the job title. Don't forget that you are the professional over the client, not that you are their boss. Remember, you work for them, but you want to present yourself in a professional manner. And in a lot of ways, there have been days that I didn't want to dress up. I didn't want to do my hair, and that sometimes I feel like had got me on the wrong track when first in front of a client, whether it was a buyer or a seller.
I agree.
And, I think it just kind of throws off your A game if you're used to a particular presentation. I believe you really want to try to present yourself the same way every time because that is your brand. Not that what you're saying is the same, but the way you're presenting yourself, but also some of the content is nearly the same because that is very, very important.
I agree. Go ahead.
And it's kind of attaching to that script I was laying out earlier is you want to have at least not like a wing it mentality. You want to definitely have these bullet points you hit during these conversations, buyers or sellers.
But once you've internalized the bullet points, then
very
you can
easy.
Wing it easier. You know what I mean? But you're not so much winging it. It's
very easy because it's natural. Because I can sit down with a financial advisor and say, hey, can you help me out with my finances and get this organized? They'll sit in front of me and give me the same damn pitch that sometimes I've said.
When they're using a script, when you've heard script, when you've been in sales and you've heard scripts and you're like, no more.
I love to be sold. Mariah's been around me where I'm in a store and I really want to buy something. I know I'm probably going to buy it, but I'm like, sell me here. And I tell the representative, sell me here. They don't sell me. And I'm like, come on, do this. But in these manners, don't make it like a rambling sales pitch that everybody recognizes and knows. I was talking about ego earlier. One thing that I do know that is crucial to your business, ask questions. Use your principal broker. I know when we first got licensed, we were at a brick and mortar building, different brokerage. We're currently at Real Brokerage right now. You do have resources available, guys, whether you're at Real Broker or even your current brokerage. I guarantee you they have marketing tool platforms. They have your principal broker. Their job is to actually help you and make sure that those questions that you might have contractually align so you're doing business legitimately, ethically, and legit. Okay, that's very important. So use the resources around you. I know some people just say, you know what, I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to have to send an email because that makes me look lesser. That makes me look dumb. No, you're not dumb for asking questions.
Or I don't want to bother someone.
Exactly. So you do have marketing materials. In a lot of ways, they structure you for success, especially in these brick and mortar buildings, because think about it. Your commission splits, what are they, 60-40 sometimes?
That's usually where you start at a brick and mortar.
70-30. I mean, that's a lot of commission, guys.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Use the resources around you.
That's
even the free printing.
That's a good tip. Utilize it.
I use so much printing.
Utilize it. I think a big lesson I've learned is just simply like very, very, very basic, simple things that seem so obvious, but they go a really long way. For example, showing up early to a listing appointment or a showing. And obviously I'm human. Sometimes I am still late. But if I ever am late to a showing or meeting with a listing, which is more on the uncommon side versus on the common side previously, because I've been working on it a lot over the last 11 years, but still a work in progress sometimes. But if I ever am late, I'm immediately, as soon as I know I'm late, I am immediately calling them and texting them and letting them know, like, I apologize, I'm running, 10 minutes behind today, just wanted to give a heads up. And then nobody cares. Like, if you give them a heads up, they're generally very much fine with it. It's just rude if you don't tell them. Obviously,
own up to it.
Yes, but let them know. They really appreciate that.
When you get out of your car, don't let the trash come rolling out. Look civilized.
Don't have trash in your car in the first place.
Just put yourself together before you get out of your car. Okay, because I've seen it where, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and you're in this rush. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's the biggest thing for me is like not even as much. Yes, it's rude to the client, and sometimes they get mad, but it's very, very, very rare if you give them a heads up that they're upset that you're late. But it's more for the headspace. It's like more selfishly for you to be in the best possible headspace. Like, be there a few minutes early, gather yourself so you're not just like rushing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Review the comps real quick again in the car. Review the listing you're showing, just so you have the little details. The details is what I'm trying to say. So the details. It's all so simple, but.
We've all been there. We've all been there. We've been driving 80 miles down the road and saying, man, I got to get there.
Yes.
But when you get there, slow it down, breathe, take a few seconds in your car before you even open the door. Because the client's there already. They're waiting for you.
Yeah.
So just make sure you come out of the car, you're ready to go. Yeah. And that's my advice on that subject.
Yeah. The last thing for me, I have other things and feel free to add them. But
there's so much. Dude,
for me, we could talk about this all day.
You can spend a whole day on mistakes made by agents, whether it's us personally or other agents we've experienced with.
Yes. The last thing, though, for me that I'll talk about today is that there are other, I guess, if you would have told me when I was a brand new agent that there was another way of doing real estate, that there was another brokerage style that is maybe just a little bit more conducive or a lot more conducive for the lifestyle I want to live and the type of life and business I want to build and run. I don't know that I even realized that, where you have access to AI that is phenomenal. They're literally your own personal assistant regarding your business that knows everything about your business, that's right there, that you have different AI that you have access to that is amazing with follow-up, pre-qualifying clients, capturing leads on your website, just the tech that you could have access to that is very high tech, like the most high tech in the industry, but also the simplest and easiest to use, and the collaboration that you can have. I just truly, I didn't know that there was such a thing as something like Real Broker, which is where we're at now. And I think that real estate life looks so much different. And I've learned a lot just through being at the brokerage I'm with, being exposed to the amazing agents at the brokerage I'm with and learning from them. That's been a huge game changer for me.
I do remember when we did make that move. It wasn't a move I made lightly.
Me neither.
I even remember like prior months before, Berkshire, hey, we're not going anywhere.
Oh, we always.
I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah. Why would I leave? Those type of questions. The inconveniences that happen when you leave a brokerage, because there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You got to deal with the branding, the signage, the brokerage licensing from broker to broker. You got to tell your principal broker. There's all sorts of things, especially when you've been at a particular brokerage for so long.
Yeah.
We sat I sat for weeks in doing research on Real Broker, and I was just like, oh my gosh, because there's a couple other identical brokerages.
They're not identical.
Like Real when you Google them.
Yeah, they look identical from the outside, but the inside is nothing the same.
And so that's where I'm saying, when you read about it and actually look at videos and full experiences and agents like us that even talk about it, I do think there are things that Astro project Real Broker into 2020, or 2040, 2050. You know, when we are going to be getting out of the industry probably by then due to our age. But I mean, they are really projected towards like the new ways of real estate. And that's what I really liked about them. And they just, not even the incentive parts, but the resources, the workplace, I thought was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's like basically, I would say like Twitter for agents.
Yeah.
And they post like training
Facebook
video.
for agents.
Yeah, Facebook for agents.
Yeah.
And it's only people at Real Broker, and these are like legit top producers.
Yeah.
And then I started doing the research of like who was making the move to Real Broker. And I mean, these were all followers. Like when I first got in the industry, I would watch their YouTube channels and like, oh my gosh, this guy just made this. These are big, massive teams too.
And there's a reason they're all moving.
And these are people that actually owned their own brokerages prior.
Yes.
So that alone just showed like the business model. These people are probably a lot smarter than me.
Yeah.
And they're doing something.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to follow that. And I thought it was pretty cool.
It's true.
Not looking to sell by any means, but like it was a real, like those are my real thoughts of when it was time to change brokerages, because we did not make that move lightly. It was to me a hard no.
And me as well. And at first I don't think that we would be doing what we're doing. I don't think we would be where we are at today right now in this beautiful place if we had all of these desk fees, brokerage fees, paper fees, every little fee you could think of. And then on top of not having the passive income we have now, like now because of we would not be where we are. I do not believe this is so conducive for our lifestyle.
I just wasn't getting the return on my investments.
No, but anyway, guys, I actually do have another YouTube channel where I talk a lot more about that specifically, because this is not what this is about. You can find that in I'll post a link to it in the description. If you're curious, I do hop on calls all the time with agents that are curious about Real. Happy to schedule one with you to shoot me an email. And we come on here right now. We're coming on every day, chatting about real estate, sharing what we have learned in the industry, what we are learning. We are still actively in production, although we are not in Oregon right now. We are still actively in production in Oregon. If you have a client needing an agent in Oregon, send them our way. We'd love to give you a referral fee. Subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't already. Share with a friend in real estate, and we'll see you guys soon.